Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching me. Today, I would like to talk about healing emotional problems. A lot of our issues, a lot of our problems come from emotions. Wouldn't you agree? Let's talk about emotions and ways and possibilities to heal them. Most of the people that I see come with emotional problems. They come with problems that they can't solve. Otherwise, they wouldn't go to a therapist, right? Because of this emotions or the problems, they feel stuck. They feel the sense of stuckness and sameness. It's like they experience the same emotions, the same triggers, the same behaviors, and they can't seem to control them. They can't seem to get over them, even though they are aware of the problem and the symptoms of the problem. Such examples as weight issues, I gain weight, or emotional overeating, I can't stop to eat, relationship problems with children or partners. Even though we are aware of problems and symptoms of the problems, we can't seem to shift, right? Now, the interesting question, why can't we shift? Why can't we change? So we go into personal development, do self-help, go for therapies, but we still feel stuck. Now, it's not to say that whatever you are doing doesn't work. Everything you do to help yourself has value, absolutely. I'm referring to the problems that seem unsummonable. You can't, you tried everything, you looked at everything, and it persists. Not only that, it also gets worse, and it starts affecting a lot of aspects of your life. You feel like it's a burden, and you feel this urgency. I've got to get over it, but I can't seem to do it. I'll give you an example of my own life and this kind of problem. If you listen to it, it will be much clearer for you, and you might have some similar problem that persist in your life. So one of the biggest issues that I've had was with visibility. And as children, when sometimes we are asked, what kind of superpower would you like to have? And my answer was always, I want to be invisible. And I remember when I was in primary school, my biggest dream and my biggest fantasy was about going out of the house. The streets are empty. It's like zombie apocalypse. No one's there. If there are people there, I'll turn on my invisibility switch. So it gave me a lot of sense of peace, being invisible. Now, as a grown person, I have this problem, right? Imagine I am a teacher, a trainer, a coach, a therapist. How can I keep growing in my profession, in my career, if my primary need, one of my biggest needs, is to be invisible? I want to hide. So for a long time, out of necessity, still having that problem, I created a lot of adjustments to live my life around this problem. So, for example, I needed a controlled environment, I needed 4 walls, I needed small group of people. And now as I grow and there is a demand and interest in what I do, I am putting myself out there more. All emotional hell broke. I felt out of control. I felt unconsciously. I had a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions that I couldn't control, and they made me overwhelmed. In a nutshell, there was too much attention on me, and I couldn't handle that. Even though I needed to grow bigger, I unconsciously stopped myself. I stopped everything. Social media engagements, seeing clients, running seminars. It was really such an abrupt stop, and I couldn't figure it out because I loved doing all these things. I had a lot of interest in that, had a lot of expertise, but the problem was unconscious, of course, and it stopped unconsciously. So after a year, looking back, I'm like, what's going on? What happened to my projects, right? So it's like lights were out. This is a good parallel when we're dealing with unconscious problems that kind of take over your life and they don't allow you to move forward. This is just one small example how unhealed emotions can stop us on our track, despite our best intentions. And interestingly, I knew there was help out there. I knew I was stuck, but even getting help was too much for me. Just the lights were out. And of course, I'm curious and passionate, very interested in the power of emotions and how they influence us. Emotions to influence us, bypass our awareness, keep us stuck, like my example. Or another example is with the recent client with emotional overeating. I tend to work a lot with this kind of clients. For example, she says that she's not aware of overeating to the point of making herself sick, and actually realizing after the fact that she had eaten all this food in the middle of the night, which is very typical when we're dealing with unconscious emotions. Most emotions are unconscious. Now, this is a case of unhealed emotion. Something's working in you unconsciously. Why is this working, you would ask? I wouldn't want to hurt myself. But this is exactly what I'm doing. I believe that whatever is working in us is working there, is there for a purpose. It's doing something for you on an unconscious level. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. It's a form of energy, emotion, energy in motion. It's there doing something. Now, at some point in the past, a thought was created to solve a past problem. So, what was once a solution to a problem now became a problem. I will repeat it again. Once it was a solution to a problem, now it became a problem. How does it make sense? Now, let's go back to my invisibility example. As a young child, I was raised in a very dysfunctional and violent household. There were a lot of shouts, screams, and I got a lot of unwanted attention. Think about lectures. I was lectured, pulling, grabbing, slapping, etc. And of course, my reaction to this was to hide physically under the table. Now, as a grown woman working for big projects, my adult life goals, like running a business, having relationships, you name anything, I still carry this inner adaptation, and now it's become a problem. Hiding was a solution at some point. Hiding is a problem now. Does it make sense? Yeah. So just the fact that I'm here talking to you and I'm able to consciously explain it now, that's because it was healed. I'm at the level where I have processed all that. I've cleared out the adaptation and actually showed to my conscious mind that I don't need it anymore. I have a choice now, right? Yes, I can get lazy with things, annoyed like any other normal person, but I can overcome anything. I can overcome those things. Whereas in the past, for example, a few years ago, it was not possible for me. And my experience with client is the same, that any kind of stuckness, what presents as a problem that you can't seem to change or to shift or to find solution to, can be brought out from unconsciousness for processing and integrating. And this process and integration happens on all levels of your human system: mind, body, spirit. Now, let's go back to the example when the thought, my personal example, it's not safe to be seen, was formed. I was a young child, so the thought itself was not verbal. But we know that metaphysically speaking, a thought creates, right? The spirit is the mind and spirit is the creator. So when this thought, it's not safe to be seen, was formed, in an instant, it was fixed at the level of emotion and instinct. Stress reaction triggered all sorts of reactions in us to heighten this thought, which became, which created a kind of ecosystem and its own realm, right, for me to function within. So, and then we become stuck. We have no choice, and we keep running the same program unconsciously for many years. So I was a small child, right? And when this thought was formed, with no verbal functions, I couldn't, there were no, all these beliefs and thoughts and reactions are formed before we have a language functions, yeah, the parts of the brain that are responsible for language functions online. A lot of these beliefs are formed way before that. So, so for me to solve that, I needed to go back to the place of birth of this thought that was created and allow for healing to happen. For healing to happen at the emotional, instinctual, biological level. So you really need your subconsciousness, unconsciousness to allow for healing of unprocessed emotions, beliefs. Basically, you allow to process and allow yourself to understand that there is no need for that older adaptation anymore. So in essence, you're letting go of old stuff and bringing the new stuff. Now, if you're curious to know more, or you want to talk about your problem that you don't seem to shift, you can check out my website to see how I work with clients and my approach to healing all the emotions to help you move forward with your life goals. You can DM me and find me on social media. I give 20 minutes free consults to discuss your problems and how I can help, how we can possibly work together. You can also go to my website and hit call request button. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, I'm happy to keep communicating and happy to keep in touch.